Hello and welcome to this month's edition of the Information Technology Programme, our second look at developments in multimedia. Don't worry, we're not trying to turn you all into computer programmers. Our aim is simply to make you familiar with just some of the innovations now available to help you and your organisation communicate more efficiently and effectively. In our February 1996 programme, we took our first look at the Internet and World Wide Web. Well, things have moved on significantly since then, and to tell us more, Mark Wilderspin, our contributor, joins us again. Welcome, Mark. Why is 1997 going to be such a significant year for multimedia?
I think the main thing, Nikki, is that we're going to see the implementation of the first generation of broadband network technologies, which for the first time are really going to bring multimedia into the mass consumer market. Really in two ways. One, in terms of the domestic consumer receiving multimedia information in the living room through interactive television, video on demand, and the World Wide Web from the armchair, effectively. And in a business sense, the ability to run much more sophisticated multimedia applications like groupware technologies and video conferencing, and much more use of high-powered applications like virtual reality.
Well, you've worked in the construction and property sectors. How's all this technology catching on?
It's catching on slowly, I think, to be honest. I think there's a greater awareness of the fact that it exists, and the last 12 months certainly have come on a long way. It's manifesting itself in several ways, really. I mean, certainly there seems to be a greater use of electronic mail and file exchange and general browsing of the World Wide Web. And slowly there are a number of industry-specific related websites and information sources which are being made available to the professionals.
We'll leave it there for the moment. Mark, thank you. So, in today's programme, we're going to develop some of the themes Mark has just mentioned. But the first thing to appreciate is that multimedia is much more than just the internet. Data and information can take a variety of forms: text and figures, graphics, photos, video and sound. In other words, multimedia. The ability to convert each type of media to digital format means that computers can be used to record, manipulate, combine, store and play back multimedia. Multimedia networks like the World Wide Web make it possible to transmit information on a global networked basis. In the business world, a major area of multimedia focus will be concentrated on the improvement of technology to transmit and manipulate all this information, making the required level of average user understanding no more than is needed to cope with the latest generation of TV set or tone dial telephone. That means even you or I can use it. So today we're going to concentrate on improvements in multimedia networks, such as the World Wide Web and their increased ability to support a wide range of interactive information and group working services, including video conferencing and virtual reality. The World Wide Web is one example of a multimedia network. It's a worldwide computer-based network which offers unlimited access between two or more computers anywhere in the world. Improvements in web technologies are making it easier to intercommunicate, access and exchange multimedia data. This means group working like video conferencing with high-quality 3D graphics are accessible using new web browser software. So, Mark, tell us what new developments we've seen to the multimedia network.
We've come from a situation in the last 2 years where, from a simple, basic internet type network, the demand for that has been such that there's been a major development in the number of internet service providers, which has grown into an industry on its own. And what we're seeing now is really an improvement in the quality and the capacity of those networks to handle multimedia information. To the point where, for example, ISDN is now becoming much more widely used, certainly in the business world, and has led to the underpinning of all the new investment in the broadband networks which we're going to see rolling out in 1997 onwards.
So why then are these changes so significant for the end users?
Several reasons, really. Firstly, they offer a large variation in terms of choice of service and access provision. There are differential services now available for domestic users and business users with different levels of quality to suit end users' particular needs, and the fact that there are many new services available to the average consumer which have just grown with the technology.
It isn't just the technology to communicate between one computer and another that's improved. The software available to interpret this data is also going through a phenomenal change. In particular, we're talking about web browsers here, for the technophobes among us. Mark, tell us what that means and why they're so significant.
Well, the web browser actually is a fairly simple piece of software. It's simply the software that is used to access any multimedia information available, for example, on the World Wide Web, but also increasingly in use with other multimedia networks such as intranets. And the development of the web browser, certainly over the last 12 months, has been phenomenal. To the point where now it can handle real-time audio, real-time video, and make a much broader and more sophisticated variety of information available.
So tell us how your website has changed.
Well, the first generation of ProConet was really geared to the 1995 web browser, which would only handle single pages, one page at a time, very grey background, very uninteresting looking aesthetically. And very limited in terms of its dynamic qualities. With the generation of the new web browser capabilities in early 1996, it then became possible to take exactly the same content but present it in a completely different way using interactive frames so that you can have different pieces of information coming from different parts of the screen at the same time, which are interrelated. And also the main feature that, one of the main features is that if you link to a third-party website, you never lose contact with your base starting point of ProConet.
There's another buzzword around at the moment, Java. Where does that fit in?
Java is really a lot of things to a lot of people. Principally, it's the first serious programming language that's been developed specifically for online multimedia applications. It's risen to prominence to date because of its ability to make web pages more dynamic and animated in terms of using animated graphics and that sort of thing. In the longer term, it's really going to be used for developing very serious multimedia software applications, and also as the engine for the new breed of network computer, for which Java is the operating system, and also as the operating system for all this new living room technology in relation to set-top boxes.
All right, we'll come back.